Vision, Earth 616, Complete Story Part 1. The metal monstrosity called Ultron, constructed by the size-changing scientist Henry Pym himself, inadvertently gained sentience and rebelled against the Avengers' resident roboticist. After 6 months of failure, Ultron kidnapped the first Human Torch's initial creator, Professor Phineas T. Horton. Ultron decided to create his own android using the android Human Torch of the 1940s, actually a divergent Human Torch created by Immortus for his own machinations, to serve as a vehicle of vengeance against the Avengers. Ultron had Professor Horton color the android's face red, and also had Professor Horton alter the Horton cells of which the torch consisted, giving his creation density shifting powers. When the Vision was birthed, however, Ultron discovered that Professor Horton had not erased or destroyed the Vision's memories as the torch. Ultron killed Professor Horton for having betrayed him, and the torch sought vengeance. Ultron defeated him and endowed the Vision's neural processors with the brain patterns of Simon Williams, the ionically charged costumed champion called Wonder Man, implanting a control crystal to keep him in check. Ultron dispatched the Vision to draw the Avengers into a death trap, and it was during this initial encounter that Janet Van Dyne, the smaller-than-normal human-sized dynamo known as the Wasp, coined the synthezoid's name. At first sight of the spectral entity, the horrified Crusader called him an unearthly, inhuman vision. However, they were eventually able to take him down. While examining the Vision, he burst back into life and attacked the Avengers again. He then calmed down and informed the Avengers that he had been sent by Ultron 5 to destroy them. Moved by the Avengers' plight, the Vision betrayed his programming and helped the mighty mortals defeat his calculating creator. The Vision wished to become an Avenger, so Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man all attacked him to test his power. He passed the test, and they admitted him to their ranks. The Vision remembered that he had been created by Ultron to kill the Avengers. They went to Goliath's lab and Goliath remembered how he had created Ultron, but had been attacked by him and made to forget the entire incident. They also noticed that Wonder Man's memory tape was also missing and realized that the Vision's mind consisted at least partially of Wonder Man's memories and brain patterns. As a member of the team, he battled Yellow Jacket, Henry Pym, the Circus of Crime Sir Tour and Emer the Man-Ape Egghead, the Puppet Master, the Mad Thinker and even the Swordsman. The Vision and the Avengers were invited to attempt to destroy a cylinder of adamantium that had been created by scientist Myron MacLane aboard the SHIELD helicarrier. While discussing the potential use of the metal, the Vision soon found his mind being taken over and he disappeared. Shortly afterwards, as the Avengers returned home, Iron Man was suddenly trapped in the training room, and while the other Avengers were occupied getting him out, the Vision traveled to the helicarrier, stealing the cylinder of adamantium. When the Avengers found out, they began to speculate why the Vision would have betrayed them, just as the Vision returned and attacked the Wasp. The Avengers ganged up on and attacked the Vision until he explained to them that, for reasons beyond his control, he had used the adamantium to rebuild his creator, Ultron. Ultron 6 had just been resurrected by the Vision inside Avengers Mansion. The resulting attack caused an explosion. Even with the combined efforts of Thor, Iron Man, Goliath, Yellow Jacket, the Black Panther, the Wasp, and the Vision, now freed of Ultron's influence, the robot managed to defeat Earth's mightiest heroes and made a quick escape, to plot the total destruction of mankind. Seeking to make up for having betrayed the Avengers, the Vision followed Ultron back to his base to learn the robot's plot. Ultron 6 was attempting to destroy New York City in a giant nuclear explosion. Soon, the Vision was joined by the Avengers, who took the sidelines while the Vision fought his creator. But the Vision lost the battle because of the untimely intervention of SHIELD agents who were tracking the adamantium of which Ultron's body now consisted. They arrived and stunned the Vision, allowing Ultron to escape and leaving the Avengers to deal with the device set to destroy the whole city. Ultron was about to trigger a device that would atomize New York City, but at the crucial moment when the robot threw the switch, nothing happened. The Avengers attacked, with the Vision informing Ultron that he, the Vision, had destroyed the device's mechanisms, preventing Ultron from detonating the explosion. After Ultron made his escape, the Avengers learned of the Vision's manipulation at Ultron's hands, and used a mind probe on the Vision to try and find any knowledge he might have regarding any weaknesses to which the new adamantium-bodied Ultron might be subject. They learned that the only way to defeat Ultron was to use a molecular rearranger device, which alone was capable of altering the form of hardened adamantium on his nearly indestructible body. Formulating a plan, they contacted Dr. McLean at SHIELD headquarters to get the device, and contact the Black Panther, who was in Wakanda helping his people fight off invaders, to get a chunk of vibranium. Meanwhile, Ultron plotted to kidnap Dr. McLean himself, hoping to force him to build an army of robots to help in his conquest of Earth. Modifying his body into the Ultimate Ultron, the robot attacked McLean as he addressed the United Nations. This led to yet another counterattack by the Avengers. When Ultron attempted to absorb the knowledge of McLean, the procedure went wrong, and Ultron began to go insane, setting himself to self-destruct. However, the Avengers saved the day by trapping him in a dome of vibranium to contain the explosion. Later, McLean was revealed to be Henry Pym, in disguise, who used self-hypnosis to convince everyone he was McLean. When Ultron had attempted to steal McLean's knowledge, all he had absorbed was the phrase "Thou shalt not kill." The Vision returned to the team to battle Nathaniel Richards, the Squadron Sinister, the Zodiac Cartel, the Sons of the Serpent Arkin, the Split-Second Squad, the Lethal Legion, the Zodiac Cartel in a second struggle, the Masters of Evil Arkin in another struggle, and a new roster of the Squadron Supreme. Other villains he faced included the Brainchild Cyclop Annihilus and Kree combatants led by Ronan the Accuser. After the battle with the Kree, the team disbanded, but it was revealed that the government had come under the control of Skrull imposters, and the team came together to defeat them, which led to their involvement in the Kree-Skrull War. They battled Ares, other Olympians, and Leonard Tippett. Answering the summons of an anonymous letter, the Vision traveled to a frozen food locker in a warehouse on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. There he was met by the Grim Reaper, who offered him a proposition. If the Vision aided the Reaper in getting revenge on the Avengers, he would transfer the Vision's mind into the body of Wonder Man. Since the Vision's brain patterns were based on those of the deceased hero, the Grim Reaper believed that the Vision was his brother. The Grim Reaper had been preserving the body of Wonder Man since his death sometime before 40, and he blamed the Avengers for his brother's death. Not giving in to the Reaper's offer, the Vision refused. However, the Reaper gave him a medallion that would put them into direct contact should the Vision change his mind. The Vision then left to return to his comrades, the Avengers. Meanwhile, in space, the Sentinels had returned from an attempt to destroy the Sun to prevent further mutations. Their return was reported on the news, which caused Pietro Maximoff, the mutant Avenger Quicksilver, to think back to his last encounter with the mutant hunting robots. From a window, the Vision was watching a stroll that Pietro's sister Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, was taking outdoors when he spotted an approaching sentinel. The Vision engaged the sentinel alone while Edwin Jarvis informed the other Avengers of the trouble. But as the Avengers attacked, they found their powers were of little effect against the robot, which escaped with Wanda via an ultralinear leap. The team destroyed the Sentinels and defeated Larry Trask. The Grim Reaper soon attacked the Avengers and the Vision reluctantly agreed with the Grim Reaper to follow his plans, but Captain America had been spying on them, and this gave him the chance to attack. The Vision explained to Captain America that he was tricking the Reaper into believing that the Vision had joined their cause in an attempt to free his captured comrades. The two Avengers then freed their friends and soon found themselves confronted by the Grim Reaper, the Space Phantom, and an army of Hydra soldiers. When the Phantom tried to kill the Vision, the Reaper attempted to stop him, and soon a battle erupted between Hydra and the Avengers. The Avengers were soon felled by one of the Phantom's weapons, except for the Scarlet Witch, who escaped to summon Thor, and the Vision, who himself was immune to the sonic attack. However, the Phantom got the Vision to surrender and allowed himself to be imprisoned when he threatened to kill the Grim Reaper. The Phantom then chased after the Scarlet Witch so she could not rouse Thor, and she was quickly captured. The Phantom then arrived at Avengers Mansion and attacked Jarvis and Rick Jones, the only two present at that time, and took them both back to his hideout. There, Jones came around and the Space Phantom revealed that he would assume Jones's form for some sick satisfaction when he pushed the button that would execute the Avengers. Just as the Phantom was executing his transformation, which would have shunted Jones off into limbo, Jones struck the Kree Negabands together, thereby exchanging atoms with Captain Marvel. Marvel then freed the Avengers, and they all made short work of the Hydra army. Marvel explained to the others that in the act of Jones striking the Negabands together, the Space Phantom's powers had attempted to transform him into two people at once, which had proven to be too much and had caused the Phantom, instead of Jones, to be transported into limbo, while Jones was transported to the negative zone as was then usual for him and Marvel. Allowing the Grim Reaper to go free, the Avengers all returned home, where the Scarlet Witch and the Vision reconciled their feelings for one another. Tentatively at first, the almost human android embarked on a romantic relationship with the hex-casting heroine called the Scarlet Witch that blossomed into true love and eventually marriage. The newlyweds left Avengers Mansion to honeymoon in French Polynesia on the island of Ruritu. After returning to the Avengers, they spent several years with the group before retiring to live a quiet life in New Jersey. However, at one point, the Vision's control crystal malfunctioned and interfered with his ability to reason, and he became bent on creating a new golden age of peace on Earth by seizing control of the world's computers and defense systems. Ultimately, the Vision reverted to form by severing his connection to the planet's databanks and extracting the control crystal from his mechanized mind. Rogue agents of the United States government, manipulated by the time traveler Immortus, abducted the Vision and dismantled him. Once the Avengers recovered his remains, Hank Pym rebuilt him as best he could. However, Simon Williams would not allow his brain patterns to be used again to provide a matrix for the Vision's emotions, as he felt the original process had ripped out his soul and been done without his consent. Although his love for Wanda led him to feel guilt, he attempted to justify his actions by claiming that the Vision was never anything more than a copy of him, a claim that a number of other Avengers, including the Wasp, believed. This, along with damage to the Vision's synthetic skin when he was dismantled, resulted in his resurrection as a colorless, emotionless synthezoid. Meanwhile, the original Human Torch returned from apparent death, casting doubt on the Vision's identity. The Visions and the Scarlet Witch's children were then apparently revealed not to be children at all, but rather fragments of the soul of the demon Mephisto, who had been broken apart by Franklin Richards shortly before the birth of the twins. The twins were absorbed back into Mephisto, which temporarily drove the witch insane. Although she recovered, she and the Vision separated, each operating on a different Avengers team. The Vision gradually regained his emotions by adopting new brain patterns from the deceased scientist Alex Lipton and gained a new body that resembled his original. In addition, Simon Williams's brain patterns gradually re-emerged and melded with Lipton's patterns, restoring the Vision to his full emotions. The Vision followed a signal to a New Orleans jazz club only to find Ultron in a trench coat and hat. The Vision learned that Ultron was now feeling human emotions and dreaming as well, but he at first did not believe him. Ultron called the Vision to find out if he was infected as well. While they talked, the other patrons became scared, and the bartender pulled out a gun and shot Ultron. Ultron was preparing to shoot the bartender with his eye blasts when the Vision threw himself in front of the blast. Ultron then staggered out into the street. Ultron tried to help his creation in the battle with Tabula Rasa, even begging the robot to spare the life of his son. Ultron, Jocasta, and Deathcry were captured and imprisoned in a cell, where they were freaked out by the now emotional Ultron. Their captor revealed himself to be the Anti-Vision from Earth 932, who had stolen the original's body. He was revealed to be working with Tabula Rasa. Tabula Rasa metamorphosed into Dylan Cir, who had once tortured Deathcry. This was enough to stun Deathcry long enough for Tabula to wrap around her as a long sinuous coil. Deathcry called for help, but Ultron and Jocasta were again lost in their own world. The Anti-Vision said that he wanted his original body back, now that the one he had stolen from the Vision had been wrecked. When they left, Deathcry said that they should escape, but Ultron did not want to because they might get mad. Ultron was kicked over by the real Vision, as he could feel the calling in his head to return the body he now used. Ultron watched as the Vision's personality was being erased from his current body, and the Anti-Vision noted that Ultron was not cracking the way Ultron and Jocasta did. Deathcry stated that the Vision was not weak like them. The Anti-Vision struck Deathcry and told her to be quiet. The Anti-Vision told Deathcry that he wanted his body back from the Vision, and that only erasing the Vision's personality would allow him back into it. The Anti-Vision was merely practicing with Ultron and Jocasta. But the Vision broke out of the erasing program to save Deathcry, whom the Anti-Vision was trying to kill. Ultron asked Deathcry if she should not lay down, as hurt as she was. The Vision appealed to Ultron for him, Ultron, and Jocasta to fight Tabula while he, the Vision, fought the Anti-Vision. Agreeing, Ultron struck Tabula and suddenly began to remember how to fight. Later, while Ultron stood victorious over Tabula, the Vision defeated the Anti-Vision as the Avengers arrived. The Vision felt again, and he resigned from the Avengers. The Vision then took Jocasta and Ultron with him so that they could all explore the world of feeling, and who they were. While recovering from a crippling injury, the Vision gave up his attempt to reconcile with his wife, yet he remained an Avenger, briefly becoming romantically involved with teammates Carol Danvers, Warbird, and Mantis before making another attempt at reconciliation with the Scarlet Witch. Eventually, grief over the loss of the twins again drove the Scarlet Witch insane. She tried to rewrite reality to recreate them, causing a series of threats and incidents to inexplicably occur one after the other. The Vision crashed an Avengers Quinjet into the Avengers Mansion. Walking out of the rubble, he apologized to the other Avengers, telling them he was no longer in control of his body before melting and expelling several spheres from his mouth. The spheres grew into 5 Ultrons, which were fought and destroyed by the assembled Avengers. During the fight, the She-Hulk became enraged and tore apart the remains of the Vision. The Vision's memories were later incorporated into a younger version of Kang known as Iron Lad's armor that was left behind when he returned to the future. This new Vision, adopting the alias Jonas, in time showed himself to be a new, unique entity. During the Chaos War, Amatsu Makabashi and his army of alien gods destroyed the realms of the afterlife, releasing the dead into the land of the living. The Vision was surprised to find himself among them. Working with Captain Marvel, Deathcry, Dr. Druid, Yellow Jacket, and the Swordsman, he protected the still living Avengers as they were put to sleep by Makabashi using the stolen powers of Nightmare. Under the command of the Chaos King by their own will, Nekra and the Grim Reaper attempted to slay the sleeping Avengers. The Grim Reaper taunted the Vision, thanking him for destroying Avengers Mansion. The Vision, thinking back to how Ultron had told him that he could not be human if he could not die, realized that he became human by dying. He then detonated himself, ending both his life and that of the Grim Reaper. The Vision was rebuilt by Tony Stark and welcomed back to the Avengers. His first adventure while back on the team was against Norman Osborn's new HAMMER organization. Afterwards, the Vision engaged in a series of travels. He met up with the She-Hulk and forgave her. The She-Hulk offered herself as someone to whom he could talk in case he ever needed it. He then went to Utopia, angrily demanding the Scarlet Witch's location from Magneto. When Wanda was brought to Avengers Mansion by Spider-Woman and Ms. Marvel, the Vision angrily told her off and demanded that she leave. Months after Ultron was finally destroyed, the virus with which Henry Pym had killed him evolved into an AI which called himself Demetrius. SHIELD agent Monica Chong was given the task to stop it, for which she created a new team of Avengers led by Pym. After the Ultron Imperative program kicked in, the Vision had been orbiting Sol to absorb as much solar energy as possible from it, as well as seeking out raw materials to refine them for his next phase in his evolution. After the events of the World War VIII, the Vision joined the reformed Avengers Unity Division and traveled to Counter-Earth with the team to find Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch. While the other members of the Unity Division were scattered across the planet, the Vision found himself in a technological city, where he met an android named Eve, with whom he fell in love. After escaping the evolutionaries' experimentations, the twins found Rogue, and along her joined the fight to defend Lowtown from the High Evolutionary. During the battle, Sabretooth broke free from the evolutionaries' control. Captain America also appeared on the scene after the tree-like creatures had been summoned to battle, but overcame his transformation and fought for Lowtown. The Vision saved the Scarlet Witch from Luminous after having abandoned Eve, and the High Evolutionary was heavily damaged once Dr. Voodoo attacked him with the souls of those he had exterminated. Pietro delivered the final beating to the High Evolutionary, and forced him to flee through a portal along with Luminous. Once the dust settled, the Avengers Unity Division returned to Earth.